But I do want to share. I thought talking about my history with depression or my drinking problem, I thought that could be fatal to my practice. Whenever I was practicing law, I talked about it whenever I was still practicing. It was the opposite. I think that the world is I think clients, I think people, they actually see it as, oh wow, he overcame some things. He's a real person. He's strong or something. And I couldn't see it from that perspective. Likewise with Civility, some of my heroes, and I think Civility is a mental health tool. I think some of my heroes are some of the kindest lawyers, and they're happier, and they also win more because somehow their kindness to other people and even their adversaries, it gets them further than the other tactic, which so I think there's a lot of there are a lot of attorneys awakening to some of this. You'd be surprised how many attorneys now attend support groups, how many attorneys go to therapy. I think, we talk about, you would think I was nasty if I never went to the dentist, but why are we thinking that I'm crazy because I go to a therapist? It's maintaining the most important organ we have. And I think that that's changing too. People now are saying, hey, I got to go to therapy. I'll see you later. There was a time when that was a super secret.
Right.
The bar associations are really emphasizing lawyer well-being and wellness now. The American Bar Association has sort of led the way on this. The Austin Bar, I know, has really focused a lot on it in the last year and a half or 2 years, and really, trying to help not only educate their members, but also provide some of those kind of healthy outlets, alternatives to going to happy hour, for example, that that can help us a lot. And I think we're starting to see, with those efforts, I think we're starting to see some cultural change, and also not only with respect to there being less of a stigma in, say, going to therapy or taking an antidepressant or whatever it may be, but also on the civility side. I'm seeing a lot of positive peer pressure. People, maybe it's not the best strategy, but I see people getting called out for being jerks pretty regularly, and the courts don't seem to be tolerating it. And lawyers who have risen up to leadership positions in their firms aren't tolerating it because it's just not right. It's not the right thing to do, for starters. But the other thing is I think there actually are some people who have talked about, do Rambo litigation tactics actually help or benefit your client? And I think the answer really is no.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we get away from those strategies, I think we'd be healthier as a profession, and I don't think our clients would actually suffer for it.
I think I feel like maybe the next chapter, the next big movement's going to be well-being and civility intertwined, to talk about how, if I'm doing well and someone is refusing to give me a 30-day extension on a deadline, I'm probably not gonna cuss them out or whatever and flip out. But one of the things that I used to be afraid of when I was practicing in Lubbock, I'd be afraid of drawing an adversary from Dallas, because I felt like they were going to be so harsh and they weren't going to be willing to give me an extension. And actually, all it really took for me, no matter what city an attorney was from, is the possibility of another case with that person, and all of a sudden our behavior seems to improve, because that's why I think smaller communities, people are a little less harsh, because they know they're going to have to deal with a person over and over again. But I really appreciate what judges seem to be doing. They're not tolerating the games as much anymore, and I think if you file a motion for sanctions now, it better be very well grounded. I mean, it's really going to lose you a lot of respect for doing so unless it's really well founded. And but I think that whole the whole nature of the practice of law and the dynamic between the adversary system is a component of mental health. I can't tell you how many attorneys have called me because another attorney filed a motion for sanctions, and it caused a mental health crisis. It's really not a nice thing to do to people if they haven't abused over and over and over again. But when you start saying, "Oh, we're going to ask for you to pay, $15,000 in attorney's fees because you made a mistake," those kind of things really affect our well-being. And I think everybody's starting to say, "Hey, let's step back here and let's create a better environment for us to do this, because we're already stressed out. Do we really need to be bullies? Do we really need to be hateful?" And I think that's something that actually I credit a lot of younger attorneys for wanting, and those of us in kind of that have been around a couple of decades, we're willing to go that way, and I see that as a really positive thing. And likewise, I see the stigma changing with mental health, with therapy, with all of the other there was a time when I was practicing, the first couple of years I was practicing, you didn't tell anybody you're going to go play golf ever. You kept that secret because people might think you're not working hard enough. Now I know people that are like, "Hey, you need to go do some stuff. You need to have some fun time, or you're going to burn out." And it's an investment for law firms. They don't want to burn you out and spend a lot of time and money and investment in you as building skills and then lose you because you overdid it.